This is a Gizmos freeware tutorial on how to add a title section to one of your reviews. One of the questions that we get from time to time is how can I add a new section to my reviews? One of these sections like this that has the bold text with the gray background. It is nice to be able to add one of these whenever you have some special need of another section to complement maybe your discussion section. And that's what we're going to look at in this tutorial, is how to add a section like these. And we'll just simply call it other software in this case. Before we go into the online editor to begin to do this, I want to show you exactly how one of these is laid out a bit. It's created in what's called a table. And to show you those tables, I'm actually going to highlight them here. First of all, we see that the area that's highlighted in red here is a table. The quick selection guide below has a table within a table. You see the red one, and then there's a subtable, that's the green one. Now each table also has some elements within it, which are normally called cells, but they're actually made up of rows, and then the cell is in the row. You can see here that this table, the related products and links table, has a row here and then one row here. Whereas this table that is within this quick selection guide table, it has one big row here and then another row underneath and another row underneath that and so on. But then within this row is 3 cells. 1, 2, 3. So this is actually what we're going to have to create, not this one, but one like this, in order to create another title section for our review. Unfortunately, we can't do that using just the online editor. We're going to actually have to delve into the HTML and go into source a little bit to create one of these sections. But it's not too awfully hard, and I will walk you through the steps. And we will go into the online editor. Now once again, we're going to add our other software section between the discussion section here and the related products and links section here. Now notice in the online editor, even though we're in the what you see is what you get view, these headings don't have the bolded text, nor do they have the gray background. That's because that formatting is actually added by what's called cascading style sheets. You don't have to do that formatting. It's all done for you as long as the proper procedure for creating these tables is done. So if you look closely at one of these sections, you can see there's some gray highlighting around them. And once again, those define the tables. Each one of those sections of text, the title fits into one row of the table, and then the content fits into another row of the table. Now, where we want our new table to go then is actually right before this related products and links table. So what we want to be able to do is find exactly where this related products and links is located. In order to do that, one trick that I've showed in some of the previous tutorials to find things in source, in the source view, is just to type find me. And then go to source, and then bring up your internet browser's find or search utility, and simply type in find me. And it'll pop right down to that. Here's our related products and links section. Now if this all looks really scary to you, after this tutorial you'll understand it a little bit better. Here's the find me right there, and we'll just delete that out because we don't need it now. Where we want, this is the review title, the related products and links section, and if we look backwards in this this text a little bit, we'll actually see this one of these section markers. It'll begin with these characters, which are actually special characters that comment out or make this text hidden, and your browser doesn't read that. This is just for our benefit, to be able to keep things straight within these sections. So this just says this is the beginning of the related products and links section, whereas this one says end right here. This is the end of the discussion section. So what we need to do is add in some new section markers, and we'll do that by you could just copy and paste one of those section markers and then change the text that you need. I'll just type it in, and we're going to type beginning section, and we'll call it other software. Here, let me and then you always want to end it with those 3 characters, so that anything that's after that will be read by the browser. And we're going to create the end section, like that. Now our table then is going to go in between these 2 sections, and I will show you how we create one of those tables. I'm not going to do it in here though, because I want it to be a little bit clearer and a little bit more understandable, so I'm just going to do it in a text editor here with a little bit bigger font so it shows up. Now, as we looked at our model before, we saw that first of all there was an outer table. So the way you define that outer table is quite simple. We create an HTML tag, the table tag, and it looks just like that. Now in HTML, whenever you create a tag, you also have to close that tag somewhere else. Basically, you have the beginning of an element and the ending of an element. So in this case, you have the table where it begins, and then you need to have a place where that table ends. You define that by typing the same tag with a slash before it. So you have the table beginning and the table ending. So that defines our table. Next, within that table, we need a table row. That's defined with the tr tag like this. And then we will close that table row. Then we also saw that within the table row that you have a table data cell. Now, we only need one cell in our section that we're creating. We saw that sometimes you can have more than one cell, but in this case we're only creating one. The table cell is defined with the TD tag, which table data, you can think of it that way, table data cell, and then we close that. So now you can see our structure and how it's laid out there. Now within the table data cell, we actually will create a division. We're creating this division and then closing it because within the table cell we have our title of our section. In this case it's going to be other software. In fact, we'll put this in there. So that's going to be our title, but we want our title to have some formatting added to it, and that's the bolded text. And so we're going to put that in its own division. Now also we saw that each individual section or each title section has the title area within a row, and then underneath that all the content is in a row, and we need to create another table row underneath that section. We'll do the table row like that, and then we'll close it, and then we will add a table cell between those two. Oops. Forgive my typing there. And in that cell, we don't need to create a div because this is just where our standard text is going to go. So we'll just type in here for now, your text goes here. Now I just want to pop back over to the editor here. We're going to look down in this section. I want you to notice here is the opening table tag, but it's also got a formatting class added to it, and that's the class review. This is how we can define the background colors, the font styles, and things. So here is the table, and it's got a class called review added to it. Here is the table cell, and it's got a class called review title added to it, and this is for the title part of that section. And then we have the division with a class called review title as well added to it. So we're going to do that as well in our section. So the table, we add a class, and then you put in equals, and within quotes you put the name of the class, which is review on that one. Then we come down to the table cell and we do the same thing. In this case, the class is called review title. And it's within quotes as well, like that. And then the division also has a class added to it called review title, and it's within quotes. So now we have our whole table and all of its rows. We have two rows. Here's the beginning of the one row and the end of that row, and then the beginning of the second row and the end of that row. And then we have one cell within that, within both rows, and then within the top row we also have a division that controls the bolding of the text basically for other software. These classes that we added in are actually what both controls the background color, which is gray, and the bolding of the text. So now that I have this laid out and you saw how I did that, I'm going to actually just copy this. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes in my typing. And I'll come back over here and I'll just simply paste that in between. And obviously you could type it right in here, but I'm just going to paste it in between my section markers. Begin other software and end other software. And then I will go out of source view, go back to the what you see is what you get view, and if all is well, here we have our other software, and then where we can type in the text that goes with that in its own area here, just right where we wanted it, right before the related products and links. And to see this even better, we're going to go into the preview. We'll scroll down here, and now we see that we have this section with a nice gray background around it, and then the bolded text for other software. And you would type whatever content you want below that in that section where we added your text goes here. So that concludes this tutorial. on how to add a title section.